Hello out there. We're on the air. Welcome back to the 88 Sats radio channel. This is another tutorial we're doing, second week in a row. Last week we did the BitX setup for dummies. These are all kind of for dummies because I'm a very non-technical person here, as you'll see in today's show where we're going to be talking about Nostr. Voice a little froggy. Did a 2-hour show this morning, so you'll have to forgive my voice a little bit today. But I want to do a video on Nostr. And actually, this is the third attempt at a Nostr video here in about a year and a half, I'd say. I've been on Nostr for a year and a half, a little over that, I think. But I wanted to show you the first video that we did here because it's pretty funny. I said I look like a hostage in the video, and it's very accurate. So here's just a screenshot of it. I look a little, I don't know if it's the lighting in there or the hoodie, but I look a little bit chunkier there. So anyways, that was the hostage video. That was the first attempt at a Nostr tutorial. And I think since then, it's been about a year and a bit since then. And I think it's come a long ways, not only in the building of Nostr, the developing of it, but the network itself. There's a lot of new people who have joined Nostr in the last year, and it's turning into something. Last weekend, a couple of days ago, we just saw Nostriga, which was a Nostr conference that featured Jack Dorsey, Jack Mallers, Matt Odell, Preston Pish. Some of the biggest names in Bitcoin were at this conference talking about Nostr. So I figured it was a good time to do a video just for people who are going to be searching into YouTube and to Google to try to figure out what the heck Nostr is and how to get started with it. So that's what we're going to be focused on today. I do a live show every morning, and obviously there's no edits on a live show. And so I try to carry that into my videos that I do, these tutorials. Last time we had some internet issues, so I had to chop it up a bit. But for the most part, this is just going to be one running video. And apologies in advance if there's some pauses there, but it just makes my life easier. And I think people appreciate the unscripted, genuine aspect of that. So I do anyways. And I think that whenever you like something, there's probably more people out there who feel the same. So what we're going to be doing here today is I'm going to be talking about why Nostr, what Nostr is. Essentially, I don't want to get too technical at all. It's very easy to get tripped up in the terminology and the language, but we're going to talk about what it is, why it's important, how to create a new account or an NPUB, how to connect your Lightning address to your account so that people can send you money, what to post, who to follow, which apps you should be using, or clients as they're called within Nostr, but which apps you should be using. And then I'm going to show actually jumping between the different apps and what sets Nostr apart from our traditional social media and the traditional internet that we've been using. And then just a couple cool stories in terms of my experience with Nostr and a couple highlights in the first year and a half of what I believe is going to reshape the whole internet. I think Nostr is going to become the new version of the internet 2.0. So first of all, congrats for finding this video, for discovering Nostr, for taking on the responsibility to learn how to do it. And I think that the best time to be doing it is today. With all these different things, it could be, I'll make a few comparisons throughout the show today, but the first people who were on Instagram, the first people who were on YouTube, building on there, the first people who were on Instagram, LinkedIn, you get the most traction and people trust you. And then when everybody else shows up, you're already known as the golf person or the Bitcoin person or the disc golf, body lifting, panning for gold person. And then more people follow you because you're within that web of trust. You're already there. So that's why I think the best time to be getting onto Nostr is today. So why Nostr? I've been listening to a bunch of different presentations and speeches from the conference on the weekend, and kind of where I landed with this and what's really sets Nostr apart from everything else is the zaps. And if you're unfamiliar with a zap, it's basically a micropayment or a way to send value from one person to another on the internet. We've never had that ability before. The traditional financial system does not allow for that. You can't send a payment of 3 cents or 5 cents, because there's too many people that touch that. It has to go from your bank account. You have to put in your credit card information, your phone number, a picture of yourself. You have to put that all in. There's 3 or 4 people in between there, including the platform itself, 2 banks. There's just way too much there. So that's the beauty of Bitcoin, is that it allows for micropayments, very small payments on the internet. So I think that zapping is the number one differentiator here. The why, the real unique feature of Nostr is the ability to zap, to send value to somebody else. So if you make a post on Nostr, think of Nostr just like we'll just think of it like Twitter for this specific video. It's going to evolve into much more than that, but that's kind of what most people are using it for right now, is a way to share content. You can share pictures, videos, longer form content, shorter form content like Twitter, like a very short one, jokes, memes. It's a place to share content. That's kind of what it's being used for right now. And traditionally on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, if somebody appreciates your content, they can like it. They can repost it, share within their own network. They can share it. They can follow you. They can subscribe. It's a very long process, and you don't get a whole lot back for it. But with Nostr, if you make a good post and a lot of people get value from it, they can send you money instantly using the Zap feature. So I think that that's the most unique aspect of Nostr. And even comparing it to like a YouTube or an Instagram, I'm going to make a lot of comparisons during this video because that's what we're used to. And so think about YouTube is probably the most monetized platform that people use to share content. And so with YouTube, you actually have to get 1,000 subscribers. I don't know if people have gone through this road before or not, but you have to get 1,000 subscribers. You have to get 4,000 watch hours before you can monetize anything. And so that's a very hard concept for people. And it's a very hard hurdle, I think, for a lot of people to get over and to get started with. It's a long process. I've been through it, very painful. And even at the end of that, once you hit 1,000, you're making like $10 a month, maybe $15, depending on how fast your channel is growing. But it's a very long process. There's a lot of friction there. A lot of people who can tell you no and censor your content. But with Nostr, you could create an account today, share something that's valuable to other people, whatever your skill set is in life, whatever you bring value, you share that and people can send you money instantly. There's nobody that you need permission from. There's no amount of watch hours that you need before you can monetize yourself. There's no number of followers that you need to attain before you can monetize yourself. You can share a post and instantly receive value, money, Bitcoin from somebody else. So that's the Zap feature. I think the other part of Nostr that a lot of people are going to join because of is the censorship resistant aspect of it. So if I made a tweet on X and it went against their policy, Elon didn't like it, or whoever's running their censorship program at Twitter, they could kick me off. They could suspend my account. And if I put all my eggs into Twitter and all of a sudden Elon decided that he doesn't like what I said, he can suspend me. He can stop me from earning a living. So the beauty of Nostr is that you could create an account on Damus or Amethyst or Primal. I'm going to talk about all these later, but you could create an account on there. You can make a post. And even if one of those, let's say Damus didn't like what I was saying, they could kick me off their platform, their client, their application. They could give me the boot. But then I could just take my private key and I could plop that into a different client. And I could keep posting there. I'd have all my followers, everybody that I was following, that my feed would look the exact same. All my posts would still be there. So that just doesn't happen in our current internet and the current legacy social media system that we have. You have a Twitter account, you have a Facebook account, you have an Instagram account, you have a YouTube account. They're not connected. And if somebody decides that they want to kick you off there, you're following your posts. Everything that you put into that does not follow you. It's gone. So it's very censorship resistant, even though all of these different applications, like I mentioned, Damus, Primal, Amethyst, they're all centralized themselves. But Nostr, the bigger picture, the protocol here is not. You can plug your private key into anywhere else and keep going on as you were. So that's that's kind of the two reasons of why you should be getting onto Nostr today. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take us through a setup, how to create an account. So I'm going to share the screen here. I'm going to be using Primal for desktop. You can either use Nostr on desktop or mobile. And there's different clients that are specific to both. There's ones that work on both, like Primal. And Primal is the best one I've found for the desktop version anyways. So that's what we're going to start with. So let me share the screen here. And you can kind of follow me along here if you want to. You can go to Primal, Primal.net. And so this is what the landing page looks like here. So you can see that it's available on iOS, it's available on Android, or you can just use the desktop version, which I'm going to be clicking here. So this is what it looks like. You can see all the different posts that have been trending on the last 24 hours. Some pretty big names on here, some pretty big Bitcoiners. That's kind of what it's mostly used for, I think, is by Bitcoiners right now. But it's going to evolve into much more than that. So don't be discouraged if you're not a big Bitcoiner and you don't really care to talk about Bitcoin. There's a lot of different communities already on Nostr and being built on Nostr. But this is just the beginning of it. The very, very early stages here, the very early days. And it's going to evolve into a lot more. So what you do here is you click Get Started. You go to create an account. And we're going to kind of do this all on the fly here. So I'm going to use a username. My other username is Jor. So let's try Jor2. Jor2. Good enough. So I'm not going to, this is where you can upload your avatar, your banner. I'm going to skip that for now. I'm going to go to, actually, I'll upload a avatar. Let's just put the Bitcoin journey picture in there. See if it works. Is it uploading? I don't know. Did I do it right? I don't know. Anyways, it's not really relevant. We're going to go to next. So I thought this was going to be a little bit further down the road, but I'll put in my website here. Joining during a live tutorial. Bitcoin Lightning address. So this is this is pretty important. So this is how you're actually going to receive zaps. So keep that in mind. With Primal, it's a little bit different than the one thing you're going to notice here is when you're trying different clients on Nostr, and just think of a client like an app, like a Facebook, like an Instagram, like a YouTube. Think of a client like that. So there's Damus, Amethyst, Nostr, Primal. There's all these different applications or clients being built on top of the Nostr protocol. So Primal's a little bit different because it has its own built-in wallet. But I use mostly, for Android, I use Amethyst. That's kind of my go-to. And I'm going to talk about the different clients to be using. But within this Bitcoin Lightning address, this is how you're going to receive zaps. This is your Bitcoin Lightning address. This is going to be how you receive zaps. Okay. So if you share a post and somebody likes it, they want to zap you. This is the Lightning address that you're going to be receiving it to. So what I would suggest is it has to be like an address. It can't be like an invoice or a LN. The Lightning. Is that a URL? I don't know. Anyways, it has to end in like a @walletofsatoshi.com or @getalby.com. I'm going to put in my Wallet of Satoshi address here. So it's kinggolf@walletofsatoshi.com. And so if you don't have a Lightning address or a Lightning wallet yet, you can download Wallet of Satoshi. You can get Alby. You can use mini bits. There's a whole bunch of different options for that, but just make sure you have a Lightning address before you set up a Nostr account. It's pretty important. Like I said, it's kind of the unique feature. The why of Nostr is the Lightning feature. So that's all I'm going to put into here. If you have a verified Nostr address, you won't right now, but we're just going to click next. So Primal's kind of different in terms of it sets you up with a bunch of accounts to follow. I think it gives some, oh no, there's art. There's Bitcoin accounts. It's kind of cool when you get onto one of these lists. I don't know who decides this, but you'll notice that all these people who are automatically followed on Primal have a pretty large following. So good or bad, I think that there's a lot of people who just set up an account and then never use it again. So there's a lot of inflated numbers, I think, on some of these accounts. But anyways, I'm going to click unfollow all because I kind of want to choose my own adventure. I don't want to let Primal decide who I follow. So I'm going to go unfollow all, and I'm going to go to finish. Failed to update profile. Nice. Okay. Well, I didn't anticipate this being an issue. Or do I have to go all the way down or something? Why? What did I do wrong here? I mean, it really wouldn't be a tutorial unless we had some issues. I don't know why it's giving me trouble here. Okay, well, let's rip through this again. Nice. I wonder what the heck's going on here. Okay, well, this has been a complete and utter failure. Let's try this one. Okay, so this is snort.social. So this looks very similar to Primal. These guys don't automatically follow. They give you some suggestions to follow here, but I'm going to go next. List to mute. I don't really care what's muted on this one. Okay, so it looks like this has been created now. That was pretty quick. So maybe use snort.social instead of Primal. Whoops. Anyways, this actually looks very much like Primal did. So it says, be sure to back up your keys. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to settings. I'm going to look at my keys. Okay, so this is I wonder if I can see this or not. So one thing to keep in mind here, I'll just take this off the screen for a second. So kind of one thing to keep in mind here with Nostr, and I apologize for that, but that's part of the tutorial. Sometimes I'm sure if you tried using Primal right now without a video being recorded, it would work fine. That's the first time I've ever run into an issue with creating an account or creating an NPUB on Nostr, but that's real life. So one thing to keep in mind here is that every time you create a new account, you're going to get a public key and a private key. So when you create an account, that's what you're provided with. Think of it as like your username, like your public key, and your password, like your private key. So every time you set up a new account on Twitter, Facebook, wherever, you set up a name and a password for it. And there's a million that you got to keep track of. With Nostr, it's very simple because you can just jump from client to client on Nostr with your same key pair. So you can see here that they've given me a public key. That's it right here. Oh, I'm not on the screen anymore. So this is the public key that they provide you with. I'm going to copy that. And I'm actually going to send it to myself right now. And so I can show you what it looks like on Amethyst as well. We'll make a post on there. We're going to share it. We're going to jump between a few different clients, and we're going to do all this together. So I'm kind of working in the background here on my own different tab. but I'm going to share that, and I'm also going to share my private key. I'm not going to share it with you guys and girls, but I'm going to share it with myself so I can log in to Amethyst. Oh, where did I send that to? Okay, forward. Sorry, this is part of the process of not editing, is there's a couple things like this that come up. Okay. So there we go. I guess my mnemonic phrase has been shared with you anyway. So if you want to get access to this account, you can now. I didn't even see that. So that doesn't happen with everyone. This is kind of like your Bitcoin private key, same idea. The private key itself, it starts with NSEC. So the NPUB is what you want to share with people so they can find you on Nostr. Because one thing you got to keep in mind here is that with Nostr, you can set up your own username, but there could be 20 other people with the exact same username. So how people are actually going to find you is through your NPUB. So that's what you want to share with people. If you're sharing it on Twitter, wherever your network is, you want to share let people find you, you share your NPUB. Your NSEC, your private key, that's what you don't share with anybody. Just like your receive address with Bitcoin, if somebody wants to send you Bitcoin, you can share that. But you never share your private key, your Bitcoin wallet. And it's the exact same with Nostr. So your private key is what you're going to get access to all these different clients with, and you want to keep that to yourself. And I guess Snort.social actually provides a 24-word backup as well, which is kind of cool. I didn't know that they did that. So I'm going to stop sharing this for a sec. So that is our new Nostr account. And now I'm actually going to find us on Amethyst. I'm going to make a post. Actually, I'll make a post on here. So let's bring this back up. Okay, so I'm going to go to a new note. I'm going to type what's on your mind. I'm going to say, hi everyone. Filming a quick tutorial on how to use Nostr. Let us know if you can see this note. Send. And I'm actually going to use the introductions too. You should always use the introductions hashtag on your first post. So we're going to say send. So that has been sent. It should be at the top of my screen there. Jory, looks like I'm a girl avatar, but that's okay. And now I'm going to try to find this on here. There we go. So I'm on my Amethyst account. I've found Jor on here. Let me take this down. So there we are. I just typed in Jor actually on Amethyst. You can search username or NPUB, but I use the username. So there's Jor 2. And I'm going to share this with my my community on Nostr. So I reposted that. And we should be able to now, or on trending notes. Okay, let's go to, oh. Okay, so now I'm actually going to take our private key here. I'm going to go back into our export keys. Uh-oh, what happened? So I got to sign in again, I guess, here. I must have signed out. So I'm going to take this private key. I'm going to sign back in to our Snort account. Okay, so now I'm going to try. There we go. So we got a couple bytes on here already. Okay, so this is all happening live. And I'm actually going to zap this note here and see if it shows up in my wallet. So I'm going to zap at 88 sats. Oh, it says I'm not set up. I got to update my. profile here. Where's my Nostr Lightning address? So this is probably something that we're going to see here that you're going to have experience with. And I'm going to actually share this wallet so we can see it come in. So I'm not going to use the King Golf account. I'm going to use the wallet of Satoshi address that I have on this phone. Stainbase49 at walletofsatoshi.com. So you want to make sure that you put in your Lightning address first before you send out a post. Just because in case anybody wants to welcome you to Nostr with some free Bitcoin, you're going to be set up for it. So I'm going to click save. Try to click save here. I don't know if that's saved or not. So we got Sunshine, we got NPUB, we got Norms. Everybody, thank you for being part of the video here. So I'm just going to make sure that it's saved. Profile, no, it didn't. I'm kind of having a hard time with this. Nothing is saving for me here. I don't know if it's just I have too many tabs open or what's going on, but nothing is working. So we're gonna do this live. I'm gonna update it on my Amethyst. This is something that you're gonna have issues with. It is a learning. It's a new thing. It's kind of clunky, but once you kind of get a hang of it, it's a lot easier. Like once you get things rolling, you're not gonna have to worry about any of this stuff. I'm gonna copy and paste my NSEC here. I'm gonna add my Lightning address on Amethyst, and then we're gonna be able to zap it. So we're going to add a new account. I'm going to paste in my NSEC into that. And I'm going to add my Lightning address. So you can always add your Lightning address just through your profile. You can edit it and add, oh, it's on there already. Okay, so it did work. It did actually save. It's just not pulling through up on here. There you go. So it was already in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my account. I love Amethyst too because you can kind of manage a few different NPUBs with the same, without signing in and out of it all the time. So I'm going to find Jor again on here. And I'm going to zap it. So when you go to zap somebody, I don't know if you can see it on here, but there's the note, and you can see that there's the comment, the repost, the like button, and then there's a little lightning bolt there on the side. So if you just click the lightning bolt, you can set up your own custom zap. I have 88, 1,000, 5,000, 821. You can edit those yourself. This is all in Amethyst. So keep in mind here that every client that you use is going to be slightly different than the other. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. That's the key here, is that all the features are different. That's it. Your following, your feed, your followers are all going to pull through on each client the same, but the features, the way it looks, the UI, the interface is all going to be slightly different. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be a bit of a learning curve, but I'm going to zap the post. And when you actually go to zap a post, so with Amethyst, you actually get to choose which Lightning address or Lightning wallet, whatever Lightning wallet you have on your phone, you can choose which one to send it out of. So with the Bitcoin Lightning tips, that's where everything's going to go into. When you go to Zap, you get to choose which wallet you zap from. With Amethyst, it changes for every client. So I'm going to use my mini bits. I'm going to zap from there. And I'm going to pay now. And this should work now. It should show up in my account here. Let me just double check. Okay, so this wallet actually isn't connected, but I can see here on my wallet of Satoshi There we go. 88 sats, payment received. So just like that, we spun up an NPUB, we connect our Lightning address, we zap the post, and we received it from ourselves. So thank you and thank me. So it wouldn't show up in here because I think you have to, if you want to use a desktop client, you actually have to connect to wallet this way. But yeah, so this has its own web wallet. So let's just see. I'm going to try to receive here. I'm going to try an invoice of 100 sats. Generate the invoice. We're just kind of messing around here. Apologies if this isn't your kind of thing, but it's what it is. So I don't know why this is taking so long. Again, for the 5th time here, things are still pretty clunky in Nostrland, but we're working on it. This isn't going to work. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Oh, it's because we're not even logged in. It says sign up again. Okay, so we're going to get out of there. I'm going to show you here. So maybe I'll just log in there one more time, just see if that invoice thing works. Because we kind of have to, we got to get something to work here. All right, so let's go to, this is what it looks like. So this is the Snort social version of my feed right now. You can see that this post has 6 comments, 1 reshare, 5 likes, and then the zap here that I gave myself of 88 sats. So I'm going to try just, so you can connect to wallet. You can use your LB. I have an LB extension on here. You can use any wallet connect, LND hub. But for the most part, like that's if you want to zap people, but just make sure you get a Lightning address in there. So this is what everything looks like on here. I'm actually going to log out of this now. And we're going to go into a different one. So this is another client. This one's called Nostr. So this is nostrudel.ninja. So NOSTRUDEL.ninja. So I'm going to put in my, make sure I got my NSEC there, my private key. I'm going to type it into here. We're going to log in. Enter local encryption password. Okay. So this is a different view. So same client or same NPUB, same NSEC, same key pair with a different client. So this is on Nostr. So I basically I created a key pair on snort.social. I copied and pasted into Nostr. It recognized me. It recognized my key pair. And you can see here, this is the post. So we got a couple. We got Fiat Jeff, Smuggler. We got Simply Sarah, and we got Oizen. And that's Nostr. So it looks a little bit different here. You can tell, you can go to streams here. So this actually connects directly to zap.stream. Doesn't look like there's any happening right now. There's communities. No community. Okay. Explore. Man, what a tutorial this has been. It seems like absolutely nothing is working right now. Okay, so here's some feeds. There's the launch pad is kind of where you find different things. It's because I'm not following anybody else. That's kind of like the main difference between Nostr and other social media platforms is they kind of go off of algorithms. On Nostr, you kind of have to build your own algorithm. So I'm going to use one more here. And I wonder if Primal will actually work now that let's try Primal one more time with a created NPUB. So let's sign in here. We're going back to Primal. We're gonna give Primal another shot. So it says enter your private key, log in, and I'm gonna use the same PIN. Or you can go continue without a PIN. I'll go set a PIN, whatever. So this should be me in here now. Account. So there's my NPUB. And you can see the nice thing that I really like about Primal is it does have this trending 24 hours. So you can kind of find people to follow along the side here. Like we can go to Odell, we can follow. We can go to random guest 2. We can follow. What I suggest here is when you're first getting onto Nostr, like I would follow a bunch of people. That's how you're gonna get the most out of Nostr. You have to follow people. So what I would do is I would either go to like my profile, just search Jor on there. I'll also put my NPUB below if you're just creating an account, you want to follow me. But look at who people are following. Like go to Odell's following, go to my following, go to Preston Pish, Jeff Booth, go to their following and look at who they're following, and then just start following them. You can always prune them as needed. You can mute them later, but just start with something. And the key to kind of building a network and getting started on Nostr is just replying. Just interact with people on there. Don't just post. I mean, post as much as you can, but also focus on actually replying to people and interacting, asking questions. That's how you're going to get the most out of Nostr, because unlike traditional social media, there's no algorithm here. So they're not going to show you what they think you want to see. You kind of have to decide your own. It's like Goosebumps. You get to choose your own adventure here. They don't decide that for you. So that kind of covers the first aspects of it, is what we've been through. I think the next part we'll talk about is which clients to use. So maybe if you haven't got a pen and paper out already, now would be a good chance to just get a piece of paper. So if you're on iOS, if you're on iPhone, start with Damus. Damus is my favorite iOS application, and you can go to the App Store. All you have to do, go to the App Store, you search for Damus, DAMUS, download it. Damus is the easiest one to use. And if they had a desktop version, I would have used that. But you just go to create a new account. They create a key pair for you. You can start instantly. There's nothing that we have to go through there. It's just instant. So iOS, you can use Primal too. I don't love the mobile Primal as much as the desktop version of it. For Android, like I said, the one that I used is called Amethyst. And I'll just make sure I spell it properly here. But you can just go to the Google Play Store, and it is spelled like AMETHYST, Amethyst. And it looks like a little duck. That's what the logo is. So on Android, you can use Amethyst. I also like using Nostr, which is the desktop version we were just looking at there. So that's NOSTRUDEL, Nostr. And Primal's also, as I said, on Android. I don't love the desktop or the mobile version of Primal. I don't know why. It's just it's slower. Damus, Amethyst, Nostr, those are kind of my top 3, depending on what you're using. And then the desktop version, if you're just strictly a desktop person, or you want to have like one bookmarked on here with your account on there, Primal's the best, I think. Even though it was kind of clunky today, it didn't work for us, but I use Primal mostly on desktop. You can use snort.social. That was the first one we generated our key pair with. Or you can use Nostr, which was the second part there that we looked at. So that's which clients to use. Again, think of clients, they're just applications. You're downloading these from the App Store, either the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. They're just apps. They're interacting on the Nostr protocol. They call them clients, but you don't need to confuse yourself. They're just applications. What else here? A couple things that I would kind of suggest. I said, make sure you're following people. Make sure that you have a Lightning address, your Bitcoin Lightning Tips wallet address before you make your first post. In your first post, I would kind of give a bit of a background. If you want to be like more public on there, if you want people to know who you are, if you want to be anonymous, this doesn't really apply to you. But give a bit of information of like who you are, what led you to Nostr, what you do, what you're looking for. If you got a business that you're going to be promoting on there, make that in your first post and use the hashtag introductions. That's how people find new people on Nostr. So that's your first spiel, your first post, introductions. Make sure you have a Lightning address connected to it before you post. Also, one thing that I've been using Nostr a lot for is asking questions. So I hardly use Google at all anymore. I use either Venice AI to ask questions, or I use Nostr. And so if I have a question and I want real people who have experienced and gone through this before, whatever the question is, I'll just type in my question, and then I use the hashtag #AskNostr. So ask, A-S-K, Nostr, N-O-S-T-R, hashtag #AskNostr. And there's usually people who just look for that hashtag, they answer, or it pops up on their feed. And that's where you're going to get the best, unbiased, unpaid opinions and answers out there. And the beauty of it is if somebody answers your question and helps you, you can send them Bitcoin in return. You can send them 10 sats. You could send them 100 sats, which is the equivalent in dollars of like 10 cents, but you're still giving them something for it instead of feeding into the Google ecosystem. And have you used Google lately? Every time you search something in there, you get about 20 ads first, and you have to go to like the 7th page to find what you're actually looking for. So like I said, I use Venice.ai or I use Nostr for finding information now, for discovering things. And I was going to share a couple more things, but I think that's enough for today. We kind of had a little bit of a F around with the start there, but that's okay. That's part of the whole learning experience. I did the same with BitAxe. It wasn't working on the video. And I also did that with a Bitcoin transaction where we waited almost an hour for the transaction to go through. But that's reality. Not everything is going to be perfect. Not everything's going to be smooth. And you just kind of have to adapt and go with it. So if Primal doesn't work, hop on to snort.social. If that doesn't work, hop on to nostrudel.ninja. That's the beauty of Nostr. And that's why I really believe that it is the Internet 2.0. But just a couple quick stories before we go. And if you've made it to this point, congratulations. But yesterday, I actually have an NPUB for Arnie, who isn't here today. I don't know where he is in the house, but he's our pup. And I got an NPUB for him. And Jack Dorsey, he's a big advocate of Nostr. He's been funding Nostr and development of Nostr significantly. And so I tagged Jack in a post. I was watching Jack do a presentation yesterday, and Arnie was there with me. So I just tagged Jack in the post from Arnie's NPUB. And Jack Dorsey zapped the post 5,000 sats yesterday. So it's things like that that you're not going to get on anywhere else. And, you know, if you want to get in touch with Jack Maulers, Matt Odell, Preston Pish, there's a few other big names on there. But the best way to get their attention is by zapping them. So if you got a question, if you want to reach out to them, if you want to thank them, whatever that is, the way to get their attention is through zaps. Because think about it. If you're Jack Dorsey, think about how many notifications you'd see in a day and how convoluted your feed would be. And your notifications, everything would just be like too much, almost overwhelming. But somebody sends you money, somebody sends you real value. That's a whole different sensation in your body and how you react to that. Somebody sending you money, you're going to pay attention to that. So I found that's a really good way if you want to get somebody's attention is to just send them a zap, ask them a question, send them a zap, and they're probably going to see it because you just sent them money that they value. You can get in touch with Odell on there, the Jacks, Jeff Booth's on there. He sent some zaps before this way. It's pretty cool. And the last thing that I kind of wanted to end with there is in terms of the zaps and stuff. If you're wondering, like, okay, I'm not a Bitcoiner. I don't really care to use Bitcoin. I'm not for the whole going against the government, the central banks. It doesn't matter. And if you don't want to hodl it, if you don't want to hold your Bitcoin, it's very easy to convert Bitcoin to cash nowadays, because you have to remember with Bitcoin that it's a global currency with global demand and global liquidity. So if you want to convert that Bitcoin into fiat or into dollars, you can do that very easily now. And you can do that through like a ShakePay, where you can send your Bitcoin from your Nostr account to ShakePay, sell it on there, convert it into dollars. And ShakePay actually has a Visa where you can pay for things with a tap. Any store, any vendor that has the tap feature, which is 99% now, you can send your Bitcoin there, convert it to dollars, and use their Visa card to pay for things that you need. So this isn't something that you can just, you're going to accumulate, you're never going to think about. It's just going to build up. You can actually use this to pay for things in your real day-to-day life. So myself, I don't use ShakePay as much as I used to anymore. But if you're new to Bitcoin, if you're new to Nostr, and if you're interested in that, I'll leave a couple links below for ways to do that. So I'll put my ShakePay in there. I'll get in touch with somebody who's in the US and put a Fold. You can do the exact same thing with your Fold app, where you can convert Bitcoin into cash and then pay for things using your phone. So I'll put those referral links below. I'll put my NPUB below. And I think that's it. If you have any questions on this or want me to clarify anything, maybe I'll do a fourth video soon. This whole thing's just evolving so fast. And so there will be more videos, more updates. But if you have any questions, just put them in the comments below, and I'll either answer them within the comments or I'll answer them on the show, whatever that is. So I didn't think this was going to be 45 minutes long, but here we are. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be doing more of these tutorials as we go along here. So if you don't mind, just support the channel in whatever way you can. This is actually a Lightning address for Arnie. That's his wallet. His wallet is Satoshi. So if you want to send him a couple sats in his honor, or send me a couple sats in his honor, that's one way to do it. There's a bunch of different ways. So just whatever you can to do to support the channel is very much appreciated. And we do a live show every single morning on YouTube on zap.stream, which is connected to Nostr, at 9 a.m. Eastern time, called the Daily Bitcoin Journey. So that's it. Good luck. And I'm kind of pissed this went this long, but anyways, I'm dragging it out. So have a great day. Thanks for watching, and good luck. Have fun on Nostr. Just enjoy it. It is the new internet, and the earlier you can get there, the better off you're going to be, because kind of my main theme of this whole channel is not so much about Bitcoin, but it's exiting the centralized fiat system. And Nostr is the gateway to that. It's going to create a whole bunch of new Bitcoiners. It's going to unlock our ability to communicate online without anybody in between, just like Bitcoin. So thanks once again. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.